It is insane to me how both episodes do mostly the same thing, but one is very funny and one is very terrifying. If you haven't seen my Coconut Fred Rise and Fall, it may not make sense why I'm doing a versus with that and SpongeBob, but trust me, you need to see these two episodes side by side to understand why one has gone on to be a success and the other has not. So the Coconut Fred episode starts out with Fred and Bungaberry, their dog, that barely classifies as a main character, and because they needed something to start the episode, they decide on a very textbook option. Fred wants to be a fireman. Fred wants to be a sushi chef. Fred wants to be an astronaut.
I could be a fireman, a sushi chef, an astronaut!
I wonder if such a joke like this was put better in SpongeBob. Oh wait, there was. Can you spare a dime? And that was just a passing joke in that episode. It wasn't even what it was all about. Here, it's not only a joke, but said sushi manat comes out of the thought bubble to terrorize the real world. Now, to the untrained eye, this may seem like a small gag in which Fred imagines something that becomes real life for a joke, but that is not true. In my Rise and Fall, I show you time after time that this man controls everything, and he can will anything into the world just by thinking about it, and that he's actually a god in coconut clothing. When this episode feels like starting because it perceives that it has a good enough hook, it gets into the meat and potatoes. So Bingo, bless his cherry soul, turns to Fred to warn him about a bully. Now think about this for a second. On an island that is billed as a tropical paradise island with an eccentric coconut, has the social hierarchy set up to not have just a bully, but a really dumb one.
Hey, you must be Butchie!
He's fat!
I'm assuming he's supposed to be a green sour apple or something like that, and that's fine, but compare this to Flats, or even the Strangler, or even Blackjack. While Flats, like Butchie, has zero personality or identity beyond what they're meant to do, what made it work is that SpongeBob's reactions were over the top, and it gave us a very memorable running joke to come out of that.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
As we'll get to within the Strangler, he's trying to get SpongeBob into a private area, but over time he'd learned that SpongeBob's naive sense of blind, friendly incompetence and silliness would drive him mad. Even with Blackjack, while not as good as the first two episodes as far as the entire thing, there was at least a family element there. And I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, what, Jay, did he explicitly state that he's a bully just to be a bully? Did he state that his only job is to pick on the smallest people and work his way up? Did he call them assorted cliche insults that only generic bullies use? Surely this professional cartoon would have done better than to be so transparent, right? Right?
And you must be dorks!
No, we're Fred, Bunga, and Bingo!
Am I saying that he needs to have the backstory in which his father was brutally sliced by a juicer, which led him into wanting to seek vengeance as an outlet to express his sadness and anger and fear of anyone doing that to him? No! Although if he did trip into a juicer, I'd celebrate it with apple cider. But I don't need my movies to turn to me and go, this is all fake, by the way. I'm an actor, my job is to perform. I can see with my two eyes that the big mean guy wants to mess with the little guys. Now, as much mixed feelings that I have towards the episode aside, I want to say that this is the only episode they've made in which Fred's character comes at a net positive towards the people that he's around. Oftentimes, chaos happens to the detriment of everyone, to which you would question why he was even around or even fear his power, but here, they use him as a deterrent to the bully so that you can root for him and not feel too bad. It's like how Bugs Bunny would outsmart his adversaries while standing next to them.
So what are you gonna do to stop me? Well?
So, little crab, you ever had spaghetti?
I swear I did not edit that dialogue. Fred truly has the attention span of a mothball. This wouldn't be too bad if Fred had a reputation of saving his friends initially within the episodes or having good intent beyond his own desires, but within a vacuum, if this is your first time watching the show, you might think that Fred is always someone who speaks up for friends and protect them, when he's the biggest bully of them all. Butchie just doesn't know that yet. Frustrated from Fred's lack of fear, as Fred has no emotions except for happiness and confusion about other people's lack of happiness, Butchie storms away, but not after notifying them that at high tide, inside, Butchie is going to beat up Bingo, explicitly telling him that he's going to make him wait all day because he wants him to be the most afraid at that time. I swear, Butchie comes off as if he read the WikiHow article on how to become a bully. Anywho, let's get over to SpongeBob. So you may be thinking, if the